Guys, welcome back to the 21 Convention. Up next, we have our closing speaker for the Orlando event. He's a star of the community tapes. This is his 5th time speaking at this event to you guys. And he is one of the most passionate supporters of the 21 Convention. Please welcome Steve Mayeda to the stage.
Thank you. All right. So, hey, here's how we are going to do this. It's going to be a little bit different, and unfortunately, if you're watching this online, you're going to have to email us. I basically want to do this speech in a little bit of a different manner. And I thought about a lot of stuff, and coming to these conventions can really stimulate a lot of different ways to think. So I'm going to write a few things on the board, and those few things are going to be topics for us to talk about. And after I write those things, we are going to hand out the microphone and fill up some good time. First off, I'm going to write the, whoops, I can't even spell, which is a common thing, the sexual life. All right. And then I'm going to write down, we'll do, well, we'll say rapport cycling. We'll write down the red stack, the famous, the age-old thing. And maybe we'll write down some attraction cycling. And so on. So what's going to happen here is basically I want to interact with you guys as much as possible, and I'm going to try and bring it back to this. I may erase some stuff. I may keep it going. I love this, all the cameras. It's so good. But what's that?
Sorry, misspelled the word sexual.
Oh, man. Well, there's 2 L's. Good job. Good job. So, and I wouldn't have caught that. So that all being said, let me start this off. So basically what I want to do is, who here has, who's been in the community for a while? Greg, Ben, nobody. Who's been in it over a year? All right. Who's been in it over 2 years? And who's been in it? You, Robbie, really, really? Who's been in it like, let's say, first 6 months? Really, really. All right. So, that all being said, when I say the sexual life, what does that mean to somebody? And be ready with the microphone. How about somebody who has been in it less than 6 months? Nobody, nobody, really. What does it mean to anybody who's been in it over a year? Greg, right here.
To me, the sexual life means embracing my sexuality and not being ashamed of it and enjoying sharing other people's sexuality as well.
Oh, you're so amazing. You're so ideal. How long have you been in this thing?
A few years.
5 years. Few years. Greg Libido, everybody. No, hold on to that microphone. And the reason why I wanted to do this is I wanted to start a dialogue. For me, this whole thing, look, I started out in pickup. When I met Greg, what 3 years ago at the 21 Convention, man, I remember really well. It was all about, I was in this phase in pickup where basically my first 2 years, it was about being a pickup artist, man. I ran with the best pickup artists. I competed with the best pickup artists. And at times, I beat the best pickup artists. That's actually how I became known. You know, I hung out with Sin. I hung out with CJ. The whole term SNL came from the whole Dallas scene in pickup where Asian Playboy was, who's now moved to LA. Brock, who's Prophet, who lives in Tampa now, was in Dallas. Like, all these people did all this shit, right? And we drank the Kool-Aid, man. We were into it. And actually, the first time I met Greg, who asked this, or who kind of like answered this question, Greg actually was also in the scene, and he was kicking ass, and it was amazing. And it was all about, what was it about? Like, it's about who you got laid by, how many times you got laid, the numbers you got, what you did to whatever girl, and all that sort of stuff that, I mean, still, if you were to have a conversation with me about the interactions that I had today, or yesterday, or the day before, or whatever, I would still love to brag about them because I got an ego. But the more I've gotten into the whole scene, the more I've got into the type of teaching that I do, and the more I've interacted with people, because that's what this is about. Our fundamental like rights of humanity are sexuality and socialization, man. It's what we all do. The more I got into it, the more that something like this made sense, all right? The more that it became a definition that I had to abide by, you know? That was a huge thing, and it's real interesting because Greg, who they stole the microwave, or, oh no, it's over there. Yeah, apparently you can't handle it. No, but he gave a really good answer. And what did I hear? I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was about exchange, it was about experiencing, and it was about sharing, right? And when we started in the whole pickup industry, because that's definitely what it's become, less of a community and more of an industry, we all wanted to take, we all wanted to get things, we all wanted to define ourselves in so many ways. And what's interesting about this, well, man, I really wanted to. Let me see. I'm going to have to ask Mike, if I switch this around, is it going to screw up the shot? It's a little bit angled down. I'm going to be writing a little bit funny. God, this is going to be interesting. See what kind of talent I have. Yeah, a little tilt, but as long as you guys can see, it's good. I write the word sexual. I'll try and spell it right. This time I'm going to write the word life, all right? And there's a few things when I write these things out that I'm going to, since I have the options of colors, none which are red, unfortunately. We'll start with green because it's the horny color. I basically have three things. If I'm going to define sexual, that means being sexual with somebody. That means everything that you can think about in it. There's three components of it, and they go in an order. There's sex, all right? Obvious. Seduction, all right? And there's sexuality. Okay, so those three things make up my definition of sexual. And let's go over these really quick. Sex, it's an action, right? It's an action. We all know what it is. You know, it can be a whole variety of things depending on, you know, if you're Bill Clinton or not, right? Seduction is a process. It's that process of, let's say we start here, we meet somebody, and we end here. And probably, sex is going to be in the middle of that. But it's a process. It's a method. It could be a system. It could be all these things, right? And then there's sexuality. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier today with Max. But sexuality kept saying, what's sexuality? And I was basically like, look, your sexuality is your result of these two things. How you have sex, how you work seduction is going to result in who you are as a person, your identity, your sexuality, who you are. Big deal. So then we get to this life thing. And of course, this seduction always bleeds over. It does. We get to life. So what is life? Life is going to be three things as well. And we start out with